Morning, everybody. It is 3:06 a.m. Thursday, September 4th, 2025. Bit of a dream for you. At first context, I was in bed after work, reading webcomics on my phone to try to relax and just feel happy, and at some point I fell asleep. I think around sometime after 11, I think. So I got about 3 to 4 hours of sleep. I feel like I had a number of dreams, but I don't remember them all, unfortunately. I don't even remember the daydream I had while I was sleeping. Before I went to sleep, I was daydreaming something. Not important. So, I had this dream. It was during an apocalypse of some sort. I remember I was in this, let's say it's a bunker of sorts. I remember that there was this, mountain the bunker was built into. And the entrance seemed a little weird. Not weird, but it's okay. A little over the top. But there was this, moving platform. It's hard to describe. This, imagine, an oval? Kind of, a half oval. Poking out of the side of the mountain. Like a jaw, right? The bottom jaw. There was, half oval that itself was half, so quarter oval. And this quarter oval could, the top of it, the round part, could open from 2 parts kind of thing. I think. And it was a platform of sorts that would move down to the ground level. Because the bunker, the entrance was a full story above. I don't know how big that is. 15 feet? About 15 feet, maybe 20 feet. It was kind of short, but kind of tall. It was 1 story tall. And beneath it was a small cave system that had really nothing in it. But, it is what it is. But the platform, it would move up and down on hydraulics of some sort. The hydraulics being attached to the bunker itself, I think. But it had, supports beneath it directly over the open air, I think. I don't remember exactly, but maybe not. But this thing, pistons, this thing was, interesting. There was, on the platform itself was this, what do you call it? An area where the controls were. And I remember, it was me. I think it was, 3 other people. A young man and 2 young boys, I think. But at some point, the young man was gone. I don't remember why. Either he died or left for food and never came back. He left for milk and never came back. But something you don't want to do during a zombie apocalypse. But the young boys, I don't know how old they were. I think they were I was younger than I am now, 20 something. the young man was like, I think also in his 20s, maybe 18. I think they were brothers. I think they were 18, and the two younger ones were like, trying to think how old they were. They were pretty, like, middle school, like 13, 14, maybe. And I think they're like a year apart. Either that or they were twins. I don't remember. They may have been twins, but they're rambunctious type. And I remember that we'd established something where I would go out scavenging for supplies during the day. And they would man the platform. The platform would be down on the ground level, and they'd keep a watch out. And if for some reason they saw zombies or anything nearby, they would bring it up. Why we didn't have we didn't just have the platform already up, I don't know. But it was a very slow moving platform, is the thing. So it's easier to see things nearby, and then just lift it up, giving me a chance to jump back in, than it was to have it lower down, me jump in, and then bring it back up. There's also probably like power efficiency, because the power that would require it to be put down and then brought back up would be a problem, so it was probably more efficient power-wise to simply have it already down. And it was a pretty hilly area. The trees were kind of sparse. Not sparse, they weren't very close together. And the forest we were in, this foresty area with like a little, I said a mountain, but more like a hill, if anything, that was jutting out of the ground. Really weird. This rock formation that was just shouldn't be there. And it was facing, I think, a lake, or maybe a river. I don't remember. Anyways, I remember I was out scavenging or whatever. And something happened. It's really weird. Like, something happened to make me want to go back desperately, even though it was in the middle of the day. I barely even went out. Maybe I got some stuff. And the scene, the point of view of the dream, kept flipping from me to this unseen force moving very quickly. It was a very, very tall, whatever it was, very tall creature. It was moving quickly over the ground, over a hill, and then facing downwards down the hill in my direction. It was some kind of like anomaly or like creature. It was so weird, and I don't know if I had a visual connection with it, or if it's just the benefits of the dreamer, who knows. But it was clearly linked to me in some way. Like, I could sense this, like, something changed in the environment, and it was after me, and it exists because of me, kind of thing, like it spawned because of me. Bizarre, but maybe it's like supposedly it looked like me, sort of. Could be like a doppelganger situation, I'm not sure. But it was terrifying. I remember running back to the base, and meanwhile, what really sucks is during this entire ordeal, while I was gone, the base had been snuck up on somehow, or overrun by zombies. I don't know how it happened. Maybe the boys were not paying attention. Or maybe they got caught off guard by something, or maybe they didn't see them. I don't understand. Zombies had appeared, and I had a bunch of blankets in the area where the controls were. Because it's like, if you imagine an actual mouth, an actual jaw, right? There's the teeth, which is the edges of the jaw, this little quarter oval, And where the tongue would be is smaller, actually not even the teeth, the edge of like where the cheeks would be, and then a smaller, similar shaped little area where the controls were, a control desk of sorts, that was kind of boxed in on all sides kind of thing. Maybe not, I don't remember. And I had a bunch of blankets there, and it was for the kids, also make it comfy there. And I told them that it's also where we slept. It was our bed. It's where we slept. Told them if anything happens, to get under the covers and try not to make a noise. Let them walk over you, because the blankets were very thick blankets. They pretty make it hard for zombies to bite through. But also I left them my 2 guns. I had 2 revolvers. Like, I couldn't tell if they're regular guns or if they're the Alucard style of revolvers. I don't remember, but they're pretty beefy guns. They're not as beefy as Alucards, but I gave them the guns, told them to use them if they have to. I think we had previous practice, perhaps. And the zombies piled in and ran over top of them. And the scene was from their point of view, right? It was back and forth, like first person, third person. It was like a movie, And meanwhile, this entire time I'm running back to the base. And I remember one of the boys, they dropped the guns over the side of the smaller area. And they both one of them grabbed it. It was from first person point of view. Grabbed both guns, I think. Or grabbed one of the guns as a zombie, lunged for him. He turned around and shot it. He was, on the ground. His head was against the whatever. So he was facing upwards towards the sky, and I think he shot it. Very good on him. Very, very, very fast. Very, very good job, is what I'd say to him. I'd be terrified or what happened, but good job. I don't know what happened to that zombie. Maybe because this blood splatter is a problem. Maybe the angle tipped him over one side, so he wasn't. I don't remember exactly what happened. Point is, he shot one of the zombies and killed him, and the other ones apparently weren't alerted to the noise. They had somehow ran all the way to the back of the base, for no reason, to one of the doors, the back of the room. The thing is, I'm trying to think how this works, because, that shouldn't be possible, because, the mouth was down. How does that work? I don't remember. But maybe what happened was whatever. Point was, some zombies got into the base, and the boys were able to survive, thankfully. They initially had hid underneath the blankets, but they had dropped the guns, and they tried to grab it when they thought that the zombies were gone. Maybe there's a ladder or stairs. There's probably stairs that spawn when the thing is down, bleachers kind of thing. There's probably stairs that open up like bleachers when the mouth goes down. So tall enough for someone not to be able to reach, but not so tall where it would cause problems with the mechanisms and what have you. So there were zombies in the base. Anyways, I ran back to base, told them to bring the thing back up immediately. Saw the zombie, the dead one, and just looked around and kept an eye on things and pulled out my weapon, which I think was I don't know what it was. Either maybe I didn't have a weapon. Maybe I had a makeshift weapon, a spear perhaps. I don't know. But when you're out in a zombie apocalypse, you don't want really loud weapons, not usually. So maybe the bow and arrow for all I know. But I remember I grabbed the other gun, or maybe I grabbed the gun that the boy had. No, I definitely left him. But what was weird was this sir was here. Wait, no, I'm getting my story mixed up. But it's because I don't remember the sequence of events. Because at some point, something happened. There was a black sir who was there with us, who was helping us at some point in the scene. And then I remember he was a stranger, I think. But what was weird was when I got back into the base, when we locked up everything, I took stock of what happened, and I opened this site, if I'm facing away from the mouth, and there's these two doors that are kind of like freezer doors, but they're not. It's really weird, hard to describe. And one is in front of me, the other one is to my left, in the corner. And I opened the one in the corner because where they all went, and it's where the kitchen is. Sort of. It's a long hallway going left, going in that direction, from the left of the mouth. And the other door I had locked for whatever reason, maybe for storage or maybe it wasn't locked, just shut. But the other door was open slightly, so maybe that's why they went down there. And I looked down there. I didn't see anything. I continued to work, walking down there carefully with my gun. And I was at the end of the hall, and there's another door to my left. So basically go left, and there's another door. And at first I didn't see anything or hear anything. And then I went to go open the door because it's already ajar. And then I saw a person somehow what do you call it? They were their body, their head was above the door frame. They're pushed up for some reason. And I freaked out for a minute, and they heard me. And they started chasing after me. I remember I shot somebody, one of the bodies, the zombies, and then started running. And as I was nearing the end of the hallway back towards the main room, I heard weights stop. And I looked back and realized they were stopping. They weren't moving like normal zombies, which was weird. And so I went through the door and peeked through it, and there was a lady who was kind of doing a slight jog towards me, out of breath a little bit, and I didn't go through the door. I nearly got through the door, and halfway down the hallway or whatever, and I realized she wasn't a zombie, and I stopped and asked what the hell's going on, and she said, this is so stupid, I'm still pissed off at this, that how it was a joke or whatever, right? They're playing a prank on me, and I was livid at this. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Do you not know what this situation is? And I said, just whatever. And then she walked back down the hallway in the direction of where I initially found them. So it turns out they're survivors. They were no zombies. They're survivors. It makes you question what happened earlier with the boy, but that was a zombie, apparently. I checked it. Ooh, that is actually a zombie. The boy had a really good headshot. And then there's this lady on this stool back in the main front room who was sitting on. I was talking to her, and apparently she's part of the group. I don't know why, but she's already there. Maybe I had found her first, and she was just there. I left her on the stool. But, I asked her, what was that about? They said it was a prank, about being zombies and chasing me. And I was questioning her, being upset. And she was the leader or whatever, or at least sort of, kind of leader. And I was I noticed something was odd. Her teeth were very yellow and not jagged, but they were flat and they weren't healthy, And her eyes were a little bloodshot. She looked like she had gangrene, in a weird way. Without losing any teeth, if it makes sense. And she didn't look very healthy. She clearly looked sick of some sort. And I was like, what was that about? Your people pretend to be zombies and attack me. And she just, like, looked at me with, like, just a tired expression and she, like, was about to talk or whatever. And then I heard screaming coming from the room that I was just in, the hallway I was just in. And I turned my head to my right. I was facing her, which is just basically in the direction of the, away from the door. I remember I turned my head right to the screaming. And then I heard a noise to my left. And it was the woman. And she lunged at me. And I remembered I put my left forearm up to her neck. And at the same time I did this, I had the gun. And I put it against my forearm. So it was like either at her neck or chest. But the gun was like right beneath her jaw. And I fired like immediately. Like I didn't even hesitate. Really good, really smooth actions for me. Good job, Dreams fella, Forearm for the brace, gun, and boom. And my biggest issue, the first thing that I thought when I did that was, oh shit, there's blood splatter going up upwards, And I think I yelled, blood splatter, get down. And the boys instantly got like under the covers. And I think the black star was far enough away. We backed off. But that's a bad thing because the blood splatter went upwards. We had to clean that then. But then after that happened, I went back to I left the body there and left and what have you. I went back to the door and it was ajar. I left it ajar. And I see the woman from before like start to run from the other end. Like she'd gone all the way back down there before I started screaming. And there's zombies. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And like there's zombies right behind her. They're going to catch her. No shot. There's no point, no chance. Like, if I let her through, the zombies get through. There's no way I'd be able to save her. So I shut the door and lock it. And then I hear pounding and her yelling. And then immediately afterwards, a slam into the door as bodies hit it. And then she starts screaming and she dies. So now we have zombies in the base. But what was weird was, like, this woman had to be the other woman. She's kind of old. She had said something. I don't remember what she said before the screaming started. And I had this weird theory. I don't understand where it came from. This weird thought that in truth, they were already zombies. All of them were. And something like guided them into that room. Maybe the old woman, perhaps. Maybe she acted as a conduit. Maybe she can control them. But they looked human to me when I initially found them, right, in the room. And a zombie did attack the boys, definitely. But it was like 20 people, maybe 15 people. It was a number of people, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, were they already zombies? Did something trick me? Because there was some weird anomalous stuff going on, right? That made no sense. Sometimes it happened occasionally. So it's like they were zombies, beat to the base, and then something changed them back to humans. Physically, like it wasn't like an illusion either. They physically were humans. They turned them back, and then me shooting one of them exposed the fact they were still zombies. I shot this person in the chest, right? And I couldn't tell if they were actually zombie-like when I initially shot them. They just, I was being chased. I had to shoot them. So it's like a Walking Dead situation where like you're already infected, and if you die, you turn into a zombie no matter what. There are no safe dead people, but it was different. Something wasn't right. It was so odd, and it could be that the old woman, was not actually the leader, and she just happens to be one of the people who left stuck behind. But she was definitely weird. Something was wrong with her, And the thing is, before I had done that, this is funny. Before I talked to the old woman, when I had initially ran down the hallway to escape the fake horde of zombies, and then stopped and spoke to the young woman about how it happened, and I got to the end, I was so fed up. I just went back. I walked in through the door into the main room, saw the old woman, saw the black star with the kids in the Baxter was standing next to the ridge that goes into the main control area, and the kids sitting there near the computers on top of the blankets. And I remember just getting so upset, and I remember I was like, you can only stay till tomorrow. And I yelled tomorrow, tomorrow, down the hall, right, to the door when it's slightly ajar. And then I talked to the woman. What's funny, what woke me up actually, kind of, and went back to sleep and finally woke up properly, is I kind of yelled tomorrow. I yelled tomorrow in real life with a really weird voice. I was trying to yell loud, I was trying to yell as loud as I could and kind of yelped it out. And I went, Mario. It's really stupid. And I woke me up because I physically yelled it out. But it wasn't super, super loud. I somehow had the wherewithal to be quieter about it. So it was fairly loud. But oh, it was so stupid. And I can't believe I did that in real life. Anyways, back at the dream. Then it happened. Old woman attacked me. I shot her, blew her brains upwards, blood splatter went everywhere, warned the other three, and then closed the door. And that's kind of when I properly woke up, because then I started debating how I actually shot the old woman, because another thought came to mind is, what if I pushed her to the ground and had braced myself against her chest with my arm, and then used the gun and shot her in the head, because then the blood splatter would be on the ground, right? It would be shot forward, but I digress. It would be easier to clean. And then I woke up because I couldn't go back to sleep, and I couldn't think of what happened next. But I just had the thought. The first anomaly, the tall, gangly version of me, was definitely a doppelganger and was after me and was activated by something. But maybe they only looked like me. Maybe they can change their form based on who they're hunting, perhaps. I don't know. I remember they were definitely zombies when they trampled over the kids and into the base. And I don't remember how they got in the base, because I shouldn't have been way inside, because there was no, I don't remember if there was stairs or not. I don't remember. Whatever, they got in the base somehow, and they were human. Until they weren't. And also, I remember before all of this, actually, remember the young man I mentioned earlier who went missing? I remember before that, he and I had this nice little, we're kind of cuddling. I don't know if we were a thing, but I do remember we were cuddling in the central command area, while the boys were elsewhere in the base. I think, and we were just monitoring the monitors, and there's cameras in the side of the jaw that would allow us to see outside and what have you. And I remember so weird. There was a point where outside was, I don't know if it was a separate dream or not. It might have been a separate dream, but there was a point in my dreaming where I was outside. The point of view was for me I was outside, but it wasn't me, it was someone else. And it was a game. It was hostile. There was a breathable air meter, and it was very, very, very hot. As if I was on an alien planet. And I remember it's 40 C outside. 40 C. That's insane. And the suit I had on, this pretty bulky suit, kept the temperature regulated. It's an oven suit of sorts. And it kept me from roasting and gave me oxygen. And there was stuff to scavenge out there. And I remember coming back to the base at some point and coming back inside. And I think it was the young man. I think he was scavenging outside. Maybe, no. I left because he was gone. I left and looked for him in the scalding heat. But I don't know how that works. And then there's like other scenes I can't remember where like I was in a base and there was like anomalous creatures there, tiny ones that I had to chase, or like not chase, like I followed, and there's like it was so weird. I don't remember, but like that first dream led into the second dream with the zombies. The first dream was the same kind of like bunker thingy, but like it was 40°C outside, maybe hotter, and that's really hot because like 21°C is 70 degrees Celsius, and I think it's exponential. Like for every 3 degrees is 1 degree Celsius, so like 90 additional degrees on 7 days, like 160, outside or something, which is insane. And maybe 200 degrees for all I know, Fahrenheit, American units. So it was weird. The dreams were weird. Interesting. For sure. Definitely weird. Weird stuff is going on. I don't know. But anyways, I'm done. I can't remember much else. It's fragmented and what have you. All I know is I sealed that room off, that hallway off, and I knew I'd have to fucking deal with it later, which would be an annoyance because now there's like a whole hallway full of zombies, and cleaning up the freaking blood splatter is going to be a pain in the ass, and I have to go scavenge. But at least we have one extra person, the Black Sir, who could help us. Hopefully, unless he turned into a zombie later on, I don't know. But it was me and the two boys for a while. The two young boys, like I think by the time of this story, they're like, because they were like 12, 13, maybe 14. But like, I think previously they were younger than that when the other young man, the white sir was there. So I don't know. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my nonsense, because that was weird, and I still can't believe I yelped out in real life. Mario, what the fuck is wrong with me? So I'm gonna get up. I didn't do the dishes, so I have to go do that, and I'm hungry, so I'm gonna get some food. Okay. Talk to you later. Bye.